Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 Old World Blues. In the last episode, we finally finished off Caesar's Legion by retaking the Hoover Dam. Or by taking the Hoover Dam. So, that's dealt with, and that caused Old Spokane State to declare war on me, so they got destroyed. Though it looks like we haven't actually been through the peace conference yet. That's interesting. I guess we haven't, yeah. We're justifying against Hoover here. They're in a faction with the Pass Keepers. So we should get them knocked out. So yeah, we're just going to work on cleaning up the map. We'll see how that goes. And we'll keep working through our focuses, of course. This is going to be until the 29th of November. Alright, Midnight Union here is a full faction, so to whom will lead the base? The name Navarro. As we continue to build and expand on Navarro, a certain disagreement has cropped up among the branches that is causing such contention among officer ranks, leading to construction. Officer ranks leading to construction. It threatens to delay everything. The central issue is who's going to take the lead on the base. Who will be the primary garrison, and who will the base's name reflect? While all are in agreement to keep the name Navarro, the Army wants to call it a fort, the Navy a base, and the Air Force and Marines have chimed in as well. Thankfully, work is continuing on schedule for the time being, but it's only a matter of time before the officers start playing politics and screwing each other over to try and gain a lead. For Granite, who normally was above such matters as being used as the President of the United States, saw Navarro's importance in American history too significant. He was not going to let a petty squabble over naming conventions ruin its reconstruction. During one heated debate among the officers that was meant to settle the matter, Granite walked in on the meeting, much to the alarm of every officer in the room, though since they were all at attention, the room was silent. Granite looked them over and spoke calmly on his decision. Fort Navarro, Navarro Air Force Base, Joint Base Navarro. I would say Joint Base Navarro. We'll go with. Have to work through this. Yeah, these won't take too long. Let's start working through those. All right. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to move
Enclave maincom.
These armies north. In a stunning raid, U.S. Marshals raided Vault 19 in what was a first for the Reborn Law Enforcement Service. The Powder Gangers have tormented the Mojave Wasteland for some time due to turmoil in the NCR as a whole. Citizens of the NCR were their favorite targets, but with the coming of the Enclave, they began their targeting those who identified as Americans as well. Led by anarchist Samuel Cook, the Powder Gangers even operated a radio station in the Mojave, where Cook spoke at length at how the Enclave was no less corrupt and tyrannical than the NCR, and that just because they rallied behind some old world flag, they did not have the right to annex the wasteland. After several attempts at negotiation, the Marshals cornered and stormed Vault 19, confronting the anarchists, bringing them to justice, hauling a still thrashing Samuel Cook out of the vault to an awaiting transport. The spokesman for the Justice Department has said that the Powder Gangers will be reincorporated into the correctional system, and that their sentences will be increased, and they aren't about to take off time for good behavior. Samuel Cook himself is being sent to Fort Sierra to await trial for terrorism charges. Alright. Okay, so... where are the front lines? Oh, there's one.
Enclave here.
There's one.
This is Enclave main com.
There's one. That's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main com.
The Ruminators are part of this, are they not? Yes, they are. Tattoon Guzamil Naval Base, the once tourist report of Tattoon Guzamil was spared much in the way of the Great War. Even the radiation that marred the coast a little upset the town itself. Instead, without the tourists, the town settled into a small fishing community for many years, even joining with the Mayans from Chichen Itza for protection, so long as they paid their overlords. Now the Stars and Stripes flies over the island as the locals find a new market as American sailors and Marines have taken up residence. Most here only know of America through old pre-war stories, but it's obvious that the naval base is disrupting their way of life. Still, with American military comes American money, and the citizens of this place are more than happy to sell if it means bigger income for them. As for the Navy base itself, the Navy hopes to use it as a springboard for operations in the Caribbean, as well as a post for monitoring further activity from South America. Pacific Watchtower. We probably do need to start building a Caribbean fleet. Cancun. Okay, so let's do that. Start deploying ships over here. Wait, do we have a carrier in any of these? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Then the carriers will still deploy to the Pacific. What's the deck size on these? 9, so that's 90. We'll do 40 and 50. Yeah, deck size is 90. Navarro Naval Annex is complete. Oh, we gotta finish that. Finish that.
Enclave here.
All those armies are moving north. Cipher has become a federal commonwealth here in one day. There we go. Mole rats have infested the underbelly of Tucson. Okay, don't care. Cipher has rejoined the United States in 60 days. Let's restore Vandenberg and Beale Air Force Base. Alright, the Great American Melting Pot. It's flawed, often chafes under its own weight, and has a history of problems, and probably will for some time. But for the first time in Earth's history, 5 separate species are living under one nation, with equal protection, and most of the time working together for a common goal. A human barters with a ghoul, while slanter children play together with wasteland children in the streets. Mole miners pull out ore to supply a construction project manned by super mutants. At the helm of it all, the president sits before the stars and stripes, hoping to have directed the United States to live up to its old credo, have removed the genocidal old ways of the purists, and looking toward the 2300s with a renewed sense of purpose. We can uncomplete everything. No. Alright, we'll do the naval buildup over here. Joint base Navarro. Eureka, huh? Alright, so if we were to start justifying a war goal, 215 days. Do it. Navarro Naval Yard's done. Navarro Dry Dock.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com.
Re-inauguration of the United States Air Force Academy. For the first time since the bombshell, the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs will welcome new cadets to lead the United States Air Force into the future. After days of work and reconstruction, the president was at the ceremony welcoming the first class of cadets in over 200 years. Cadets are expected to learn not only about air tactics against the modern Air Force, but as well as the myriad of settler and tribal Air Force equivalents that have sprung up in the wasteland in recent years. Further, they will be expected to follow a strict regimen of discipline, military conduct, as well as higher learning befitting of officers. While there are plans for this re-establishment of the military academies on the East Coast, those plans are on hold for the foreseeable future. F-85 fighter. This is a nuclear jet fighter. I'll just assume that that's probably better. So, there you go. Crank them out.
Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. This is Enclave main.
Let's set up all these battle plans.
Enclave here.
Alright, that's good. Marine barracks. November 2290 into September. 2 more months. This justification will complete in March of next year. When the uncanny valley vanishes. Since our restoration of TV Town, the city has grown quite a lot, becoming a booming metropolis and a sort of melting pot of wasteland culture. Granted, with everything else weird and wacky going on in the wasteland, and this is pretty tame. Most of the androids that were damaged or destroyed have been rebuilt, save the ones controlled by the director. Thanks to our reprogramming, they've sort of adjusted to American society. Well, they've adjusted to the wasteland anyway. A few have even begun to venture out from TV Town into the wasteland among caravans. Even a few have signed up for the army, though we're placing them strictly in auxiliary formations. Speaking of that stuff, restore the Blue Castle nuclear power plant. Sure, that sounds like a thing we would do. Claim first out to reclaim America. We used the Advanced Power Armor Mark 1. Most advanced system at the time. However, the designs for it were thought lost when the rig went down. We've been forced to use the X-01 prototype Advanced Power Armor. While some of our officers and elites continue to wear the Mark 1 models, repair proved hard and replacements impossible. That all ends today. Our network excavation teams managed to restore much of Navarro's old data network after it was locked and seemingly purged when the Brotherhood tried to data mine it for technology. While much of what was recovered were old report logs, we recovered the partial schematics for the Advanced Power Armor Mark 1. Our engineers can work with this data and completely recreate what we once had. It will take some time, but soon we will have the best power armor on this side of the Forbidden Zone. Advanced power armor schematics. There we go. We'll research that then. The trial of Samuel Cook. The trial of Samuel Cook was relatively quick, but was very close to becoming a failure. Cook happily pled guilty on all charges and seemed to take pride in them. The cornerstone of his defense seemed to be that since all his actions were taken against the NCR and the NCR no longer existed, he did nothing wrong. Further, while he may have spoken out against the Enclave, he never outright ordered any actions against American citizens, and that all those were handled by lower-ranking members of their own initiative. Further, in an impassioned speech, he spoke at how the Enclave was just going to execute him, and that would prove they were worse than the NCR ever was, regardless if he was found guilty or not. One flaw in his defense was that while under certain legal review that might be true, the judge decided to suspend the case on those grounds, but that a greater legal review was needed to determine the validity of the claims. Given the state of the judicial system right now was not the time for such a review. He ordered Samuel Cook to be frozen in cryostasis in Fort Sierra until further legal review can be applied, likely after the nation was up and running, which the judge estimated would be in 100 years or so. Samuel Cook was dragged out of the courtroom, kicking and screaming. Very well. Alright, well, let's see. More civilian power grids then. That must not be under my control. You have a lot of these to build. Alright. That should hopefully keep them busy for a while. Navarro Army Barracks. While our scouts are out scavenging the ruins of... That is unreadable. Whoever thought that was a good idea, well, it isn't. We stumbled on something quite peculiar. Many people of the old world knew this place for a singular reason. A reason now known to us. Excavations took us a few days. We finally uncovered it. One of the few batches of mozzarella cheese left untouched by the war. I literally can't read it. Not only have we unearthed an uncontaminated cheese, but we also found the secret Roswellian recipe. With our newfound cheese industry, not only will our armies have stronger bones, but stronger hearts as well. Roswell cheese. Okay. Fly Cassidy caravans littered across the wasteland of Southern California and Arizona lay the remains of the Legion's airship Air Force. The Titanic Air War has left lands littered with the remains of the Crimson airships that terrorized American troops on the ground and battled with the Air Force for control of the skies. No, they didn't, because they were wiped out before we could ever deal with them. Well, it was a windfall for scavengers and scrappers as they picked through the remains of the Great Air Battle. Alright, well. I doubt the fight to take the Hoover Dam was a massive air battle.
Enclave here.
Where are you?
Enclave here.
You need a commander.
This is Enclave main comm.
Done. Restore Navarro's defenses. Alright.
This is Enclave main comm.
Alright, ciphers have been integrated. Crow Creek becomes a federal commonwealth. Send couriers to Circle Junction. Now, I don't see claim jumpers in that list.
This is Enclave main comm.
Let's see, we have civil unrest. The cannery trade node is disabled. Speaking of resistance, how is it looking? All of it is coming down, which is good. Let's see. Navarro Training Center grants Army Experience Gain plus 5% or Production Efficiency Growth plus 10%. We'll go with Army Experience Gain. Old Spokane State. It still says that we're at war. That seems like it's broken. Might have to figure out what to do about that. Alright, once of Strategic Air Command's assets on the West Coast. Vandenberg was known for being the center of 24-hour strategic bombing against targets across the Pacific and China, coordinating with bases in the Pacific for refueling, meaning it was a prime target for nuclear weapons. Much of the base lay in ruin, though it wasn't much of a challenge for getting it back into operational capacity. The Air Force is eager to restore its old bomber fleet, though its purpose may be called into question as we move east and find out of range of bombers from the base. That's what it's trying to say. There we go. Beale Air Force Base served as both a refueling point for forces moving towards China and a strategic reconnaissance base. This, of course, made security paramount, with little expended in the way of ensuring it was secured, which came back to bite us 200 years later. Without the base commander's authority, even our presidential access codes were useless, forcing a contingent from the army to sweep through the base, the many sealed facilities underneath. The base was swarming with feral ghouls that led to further delays. Now the Air Force is given the all clear and is returning to its original mission 200 years later. Since its reconstruction, it has become home to Air Force Intelligence Squadron and Air Material Command, making it the largest Air Force installation in Northern California. Alright. You get a couple more of those. There's a lot. Get all the grids powered. Navarro Airfield. Navarro Hangar. Alright, we have our war goal. Declare war. Send it. Alright, well, Coover is down. Navarro Hangar. Navarro Radar.
This is Enclave main com.
Oh, I never actually gave you any orders. Whoever you are. There you go. Could be kind of a tough slog. Pushing through there. We've cleaned out most of the underground, and it seems the Brotherhood did a number on them too. Armories emptied, workshops destroyed, all in all. Aside the power armor, it seems the endeavor was only worth as much as creating a massive network of tunnels under the base. That was until we broke into the last room, which was nothing more than a fuel maintenance bay. Sifting through the wrecks, we found a long-dead Enclave soldier locked into a supply room. In their hands was the blueprints and schematics for the next generation of Vertibird, its gunship variant. While we managed to keep a few, most went east with Autumn, leaving us with only the transport versions that were left behind. The vertical takeoff and landing dedicated cast gunship, our frontline forces will be unstoppable. Alright, well, make them.
This is Enclave main comm.
Here's an issue here.
This is Enclave main comm.
Outstanding.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main comm. Ah, that's a no one. Yeah, you can say that again.
Alright, there we go. Capitulation. Submit our demands. Alright, there we go. Now we need to start lining up against the Marshall Republic. Because we're about to be at war with them next. Oh, and over here. Maybe? Alright, well, we'll have to keep an eye out. But for now, we'll go ahead and stop here. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead. Oh, hold on. Like all that. Alright. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.